As a representative of the fag army, I urge you in today's debate to affirm that same-sex marriage should be the top priority of the LGBT, or what I'll call queer, civil rights movement because it's a key tactic for manifest faggotry, a queer project set out to destroy straight culture and everything it finds meaningful. Our society is governed by a logic known as heteronormativity, which is a system that grants moral values to heterosexuality alone and presumes that everyone is and should be straight. This is extended to gender identity. We are told that there are only two genders and they must be in the proper bodies. Those who violate heteronormativity are deemed queer and monstrous. Faggots. Once bodies are understood as queer, then violence is legitimized in order to police the boundaries of straight culture, ensuring everyone makes the right choice to be straight. The problem is not straight individuals, but the culture that only privileges straight identity. In his book No Future, Lee Edelman explains that heteronormativity exists to protect the child, whose existence has created the dominant political framework for the LGBT civil rights movement. This isn't a literal child, but rather a symbol in which we have invested ourselves in. It's no coincidence that Anita Bryant, the figurehead of the first oppositional group to LGBT politics, worked under the Save Our Children campaign. The straight married couple is the ultimate protector of the child. If gays can marry, then they will become more visible. Michelle Bachmann warned America, saying, if same-sex marriage is legalized, kids K through 12 will be forced to learn about homosexuality and be encouraged to even try it. It's impossible to be against the child. The LGBT civil rights movement is built on persuading society that we aren't the queer monsters out to get your children like we're made out to be. But why do people care about this symbol? This may seem like a silly question. How can you be against children? But that response is precisely why we need manifest faggotry. The child is emblematic of the investment we make into a straight future. There is no place for the queer in the world of today or tomorrow, for if it is going to come, we must have a straight family structure to protect the child and ensure it turns out straight as well. If we don't, it will be the collapse of civilization as we know it in terms of the values we use to make sense of the world. Conservatives even worry that the human race would go extinct because no matter how much we keep trying, same-sex couples can't reproduce naturally. So long as the child remains a sacred symbol, heteronormative oppression is inevitable. Edelman writes of Matthew Shepard, a gay man who was lured from a bar by two straight men and savagely beaten to death, left strung up on a wooden fence like a scarecrow. Matthew was murdered because his identity was a proverbial robbing of the cradle. That cradle must endlessly rock. The rhythm it rocks to beats out with every blow, the beating delivered to Matthew's skull, the melody of a straight future. It's not just bashings we're worried about, though. The reason civil rights aren't afforded to us in the first place is because of society's heteronormative obsession with the child. Same-sex marriage is the way out of this. I'm not your typical gay liberal call for equality through adoption rights or benefits, as if that framework had any potential for liberation. This would only reaffirm the child as the organizing principle of politics and can only lead to the oppression of non-LGBT queer identities, such as sex workers and other forms of deviance. Heike Schaden, in his book Nietzsche's Revolt, explains that queers should accept their stigmatized status and embody conservative fears of a straight future. Our system of values will be seen as immoral by the conservatives because they understand the world and reap their moral code through heteronormativity. Our goal should be manifest faggotry, setting fire to a world defined by heteronormative straight culture, which informs our ethics, goals, and actions. We at the Fag Army want to militarize the civil rights movement and infect the child with our queerness. I know I'd rather see a drag queen with an infant than Sarah Palin. This isn't just about war making, though. You should manifest your faggotry, embracing queerness in the world of today instead of erasing it to be incorporated in a straight tomorrow. Don't run away from what we have been branded with. Celebrate it. Enlist in my project to manifest faggotry with your ballot. But remember this, we don't just want you for the Fag Army, we want the children as well.